takes up the rest of the story.
Change is one phenomenon that continues to pose a threat to the globe. Countries with a coastline are said to be more prone to the negative hazards of climate change. Since the Gambia is endowed with a very good coastline, the EU and the Gambia government have signed a project to protect the country's coastline and other channels that are vulnerable to the negative impacts of climate change. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Abdoulaye Diallo, explained the long-term relationship between the Gambia and the EU. A partnership, he said, has been very fruitful over the years. The measures that are to be taken against climate change in the Gambia through the EU project could prove instrumental in dealing with climate change and its attendant problems.
I would like to urge the beneficiaries to the NEA and Department of Water Resources to make good use of the opportunities provided by this project that will be launched today.
For the EU Charge d'Affaires, Madam Agnes Guiland, the Gambia is one of the few countries that are to benefit from this project, funded by the European Union. The Ministry of Environment, Parks and Wildlife, and Finance and Economic Affairs are to spearhead the project. Safeguarding our marine resources is one paramount area Madam Guiland encouraged inhabitants of coastal communities to do. This is informed by the fact that climate change also influences rise in sea level, which can affect lives and livelihoods in the Gambia.
Coastal areas are particularly vulnerable in view of the concentration of socioeconomic and cultural sects and people. The coastal erosion on the Atlantic coastline is a serious problem that could be exacerbated by sea level rise. In some areas, the beach has been retreating at a rate of 1 to 2 meters a year, threatening tourism, infrastructure, and associated livelihood like fishermen and even people living close to the seashore.
Officials believe that with launching of such a project, the issue of climate change may be addressed in the shortest possible time. Famarakani, Grts News.
Sour has a new leader. Former finance minister has emerged winner of the second round of elections, and Nigeria is still contemplating with the heightened tensions in some parts of the country. We will be back with these and other stories after the break.
Under the distinguished patronage of His Excellency the President, Sir Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya AJJ Jammeh, the Gambia Radio and Television Services Staff Association is organizing a fundraising gala dinner and dance with the renowned Senegalese superstar Titi. Yes, it's Titi live in the Gambia, courtesy of the Staff Association of the National Broadcaster. Friday, May 23rd, 2014 is the mega gala dinner at the Benjamin Hall, Paradise Suites Hotel, commencing at 8 p.m. Platinum tables, $60,000, diamond tables, $50,000, gold tables, $40,000, and individual tickets, $1,000 only. Saturday, 2014 is the Grand Dance at the Paradise Suites Hotel, commencing at 8 p.m. Tickets $300, VIP $500 only. Surprise Gambian artists will also perform on both events. Support the Gambia Radio and Television Service Staff Association to ensure enhanced service delivery and make GRTS a world-class national broadcaster and pace setter in the sub-region. Titi live in the Gambia, courtesy of the GRTS Staff Association.
Welcome back, and over now to the international scene. Twin bomb explosions in a crowded market in Nigerian city of Jos have killed over 100 people and injured 45 others, most of them women. Although no one has claimed responsible for the deadly attacks, but many suspect it's handiwork of the militant group Boko Haram, who has claimed a series of attacks last week beside the kidnapping of more than 200 Nigerian schoolgirls in the north of the country a month ago. CFI reports the Nigerian President, Goodluck Jonathan, condemned the attacks and reiterated his government's commitment to winning the war on terror.
There were scenes of chaos in Jos after 2 bomb blasts ripped through the Nigerian city on Tuesday. The back-to-back explosions killed at least 118 people and wounded 45 in the city's crowded business district. This marketplace was teeming with people when the first blast occurred at about 3 p.m. local time. About 20 minutes later, as the wounded were taken to hospital, the second bomb was detonated close by. The blasts were obviously aimed at killing as many people as possible. Most of the victims are women. Witnesses recounted what they saw.
My way to get something in terminals, then I saw the explosion up. But the number of people I saw, there were pieces and they were scattered in the car, they were taking them out. Some in the wheelbarrow, they were being taken out.
No group has claimed responsibility, but Boko Haram militants are prime suspects. The extremist Islamist group has claimed a series of attacks in the past weeks, besides the kidnapping of over 200 schoolgirls in northeastern Nigeria over a month ago. President Goodluck Jonathan, who has come under increasing criticism, condemned the blasts, calling the perpetrators cruel and evil. He said the government remained committed to winning the war against terror. If Boko Haram is responsible for the Jos attack, it would show their growing reach in Nigeria, far beyond their heartland in the northeast, where despite a state of emergency, 30 people were killed in attacks this week.
Representatives from developed countries meeting in Oslo, Norway, have pledged a sum of $600 million to aid nearly 4 million people in South Sudan who are threatened by war and famine. And the former finance minister Jose Maria Vaz has won the high-stakes presidential runoff elections in Guinea-Bissau. The candidate for the dominant Africa Party for Independence of Guinea in the Republic of Cabo Verde won 62% of the votes, defeating his rivals Nuno Gomes-Nabiem, an independent candidate, with 38%. CFI has the rest of these and other stories in this roundup of African news.
Jose Maria Vaz has won the second round of Guinea-Bissau's presidential election. Early results give Mr. Vaz, a candidate of the PAIGC, the country's main party, 62% of the votes, compared to 38% to his main rival, Nuno Gomes-Nabiem, the favorite of the country's military leaders. The elections are expected to restore stability in the country, marred by unrest since the 2012 presidential election, when the second round was cancelled following a military coup. The president of the DR Congo, Joseph Kabila, was met at Élysée on Tuesday by President François Hollande. President Kabila is in Paris to discuss the crisis in the Central African Republic. With 850 soldiers and 150 police officers, the DR Congo deploys one of the largest contingents of the international support mission in the CAR. France is keen to convince President Kabila not to withdraw his troops at the moment when other African countries are hesitating about deploying their own. Political leaders in Burundi met in Bujumbura on Tuesday with a UN representative in Burundi. They evaluated the progress and preparations for the 2015 elections. A new electoral code has been adopted for the vote, which will have a single ballot. Despite the changes, there are still worries about the high level of political violence in the country.
Les jeunes, vos jeunes, vous observent.
Young people, your young people are watching. Today, the victims of manipulation, they have paid the price and are often held responsible for the troubles that continue to afflict the nation's political life. In the roadmap, you are right to prohibit political violence as a means of political expression and to demand a secure environment that protects all the political players and facilitates their activities throughout the country.
For hosting this very important
Representatives from developed countries meeting in Oslo, Norway this week have settled on a figure to help South Sudan end its civil war. They have pledged a sum of $600 million to aid the nearly 4 million people threatened by famine.
Well, we now take our second break. Stay tuned.